Hi, I'm James Chappell, CTO and co-founder of Digital Shadows. I'm here to give you the latest from our intelligence reports. In this edition, Pony malware is taking your credentials for a ride, Attitude without cracker, the games begin with Olympic hacking, in Extortion Corner, Rep Killer Team make an appearance. So Pony malware has been taking credentials for a ride. Pony malware is designed to harvest the credentials of anywhere on the hard disk. This particularly nasty malware is often packaged with things like CryptoLocker. And it shows up in spam emails that people, on their home computers will get infected with. Now, you might not think that's bad. How does that affect an enterprise? But interestingly, those credentials are often used in places of work. What's been happening is the operators of the botnet have been acquiring all of this data and then using it to break into businesses and acquiring business information. So most enterprises will have some of their users compromised by Pony malware. What businesses can do, however, is they can check for their user IDs in the logs that are pulled together from these botnets, where these have been made available to security researchers. This data is quite useful because you can reset the accounts of those users and you can point out to them that they have an infection, which helps them to then clear up their computers and remove the malware. So Pony, definitely taking credentials for a ride. Attitude without cracker this month saw 2 arrests associated with the group Crackers with Attitude. This group have been associated with attacking law enforcement, doing data dumps, doxing, and generally embarrassing individuals from different law enforcement groups, politicians, and government in general. These arrests, and also a number of individuals who are questioned with it, have not actually led to the cessation of the activity on these accounts. These accounts are still very much alive. So what does this mean? Well, law enforcement and government are likely to continue to be targeted by these accounts. And in fact, we've seen this with other groups, such as the attacks on the Turkish police. What can organizations do about it? Well, I think making sure that business and personal identities are separated is generally a good idea. These groups have been seen to use social engineering as a way of attacking their targets. If there are particularly high-profile individuals, reducing that digital footprint can really make a difference. Let the games begin. Olympic hacking is announced. Anonymous Brazil and ASOR Hack Team have been ramping up their operations around the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Olympics. We've seen attacks on websites and we've seen defacement attacks by these groups in the past, for example, the World Cup. There's been a big increase in activity generally, and we don't think this will get any lower before August. If anything, it's going to get much more popular. Added to this, we've seen also attacks on the Rio de Janeiro military police by anonymous OIC. And these are examples of typical attacks which are brought around by some of the perceived social inequalities around the games. So what can businesses do? Well, if you're involved as a sponsor or in some way associated with the Olympics, it's sensible to make sure your websites are properly secured. There's going to be a lot of attempts to deface. Also, a lot of these websites are likely to experience DDoS attacks, so having a strategy around that would seem to be a sensible idea. This month in Extortion Corner, Rep Killer Team try to make a killing. The Metropolitan Police and Action Fraud UK have highlighted a new type of fraud being carried out by a group calling themselves Rep Killer Team. What this group does, they'll send a ransom note asking a business to pay up within 36 hours, or they'll post a load of bad reputation reviews for that business. Now, apart from being very annoying, this has the scope to really impact small businesses in particular who don't necessarily have the resources to manage online reputation. One of the worrying things about this is that as these attacks seem to be quite successful, it's likely we're going to see copycat types of attacks expand. So it's likely we'll see this happen in geographies, not just in the UK, but worldwide. What can businesses do about this? Well, the advice from the police is to hold a copy of the emails if you receive one of these and work with your local law enforcement. Thanks for watching. I've been James Chappell, and this has been A Walk in the Shadows.